Tarwyn Park Training allows you to understand how this landscape functions long before any human interference. So we spend our time teaching people how to read the landscape, understand the functions that used to exist, and then implementing soft works that enable that function to operate again, whilst we overlay it with our production systems, whatever they may be. And for everybody that might be different, maybe cropping, maybe grazing, maybe horticulture, all sorts of different things. It's more about getting the landscape to function so that these production systems work very well.
The biggest benefit of Tarwyn Park Training is getting people out in their landscape, looking at where that they can improve things, where they can look at slowing flows of water, because it's so desperately needed everywhere.
Tarwyn Park Training teaches you the 5 pillars of natural sequence farming so that you can use them to restore your landscape. They are: slow the flow, let all plants grow, care for where the animals go, filtration is a must-know, and return it to the top to recycle the lot.
Each of the 5 pillars of natural sequence farming have a practical application out in the landscape. And in our Tarwyn Park Training, we teach people how to put that into practice on their landscape.
Slowing the flow in action could include practical applications such as contours and hill ponds and gully ponds, which all act to slow the flow of water and fertility moving across the landscape and promote it being stored under the surface where plants can access it more readily, and it's not being lost to our rivers and creeks and eventually to the ocean or evaporation from the sun.
When I'm building a contour, I use an excavator, and using an excavator I'm able to sculpt the bank to the height that I want it to be, as well as making sure that it's the right level and make sure the spillways are put in the correct location for it to function the best way properly.
Let all plants grow means that we want to focus on diversity, and as much diversity as possible, as all plants growing, no matter what they are, fill 5 key roles for our landscape, and they include solar powered air conditioners, moisture magnets, processing factories, soil builders and pumps.
One of my favourite things to see is when I go out in the paddock, I'm able to see the change that happens, the new plants that come in, as well as trying to figure out why they're there and what the job is they're trying to do.
Pillar number 3 for Tarwyn Park Training is care for where the animals go. And behind that is about understanding that we need to manage our animals in a way that suits both them for a production focus for our farm, but also an ecological focus, and ensuring that they are looking after the landscape and not causing it any undue issues.
When I'm being careful where the animals go, I'm making sure that whatever stock it is in the correct paddock for the right amount of time, make sure they're not affecting the land in a negative way, as well as that I want to make sure the animals are always happy and they have the best place to be, and happy animals make me happy.
Pillar number 4 is filtration is a must-know. Filtration is an extremely important process of our landscape.
The aim with filtration is to make sure that when your water is moving through the landscape, that it's clean and that everything that's flowing through it is being absorbed by the plants, all the minerals and different things like that. And the aim is that when you see that water flowing across your property, it's usually better to drink it because it's perfectly clean.
Pillar number 5 is return to the top to recycle the lot. But the big thing is about collecting fertility that's moved down, taking it back up to the top and putting it there to break down and then feed it all back down. So rather than letting everything be lost, we're actually letting it recycle over and over again, which is how nature always operated, and we're just getting that started all over again.
Return to the top to recycle a lot is cutting and carting hay from the bottom to the top, animals grazing and then pooping again back at the top of the system, and pumping water that's been moved down to the bottom through the system back to the top to be recycled again.
I think it's really important that we work on our Australian landscapes. As a mum with children, it gives me great hope that there is a great future and things can be moving forward and getting better right across the country.
You can get going with natural sequence farming by going onto the Tarwyn Park Training website. You can sign up to a 4-day course. We also have our upcoming online courses, and there will be a community for people to join that have done one of those trainings. So you can learn with other like-minded people.